tells us in Shabbos Daf Lamed Aleph, the Gemara tells us what's going to be at the end of time when a person comes to the Yeshiva Shalmaila, he comes up to the Beis Din Shalmala, he's going to be having a faher. There's going to be a test. And the Gemara in Shabbos Lamed Aleph tells us the Seder HaDvarim of the faher, of the test that we're going to be getting after 120 years of living in this world. Says the Gemara. Question, and it's amazing, by the way, because we get the questions beforehand, so we can kind of like prepare before we get there, right? It's not like a surprise. We don't know what questions they're going to ask. We know exactly what questions we're going to ask, Ilan, and therefore we can prepare ourselves for those questions. Question number 1 says the Gemara in Shabbos: were you honest in business? All the shilas that we've been dealing with over the last few weeks in this series, were you honest in business? Question number 1. What are you going to answer? And there's no phone a friend, and there's no can I get back to you? There's right there, answer the question. Were you or were you not honest in business? Question number 2, immediately after that question, were you koveya itim l'Torah? Will you specifically set aside time to learn Torah during your day? Busy day, business day, lots of meetings, lots of appointments, I'm traveling, I'm running, I'm doing. Were you koveya itim l'Torah? Question number 2 in the Beis Din Shalmala. So that would tell us something very, very important. We've been learning over the last few weeks about so many of the different shilas that are negayah to the business world. And in fact, I had at the beginning of this series, I wrote myself a list of all of the shilas that were negayah to discuss. Whether it was a shaila of, we discussed recently, Marasai walking into a restaurant, whether it was a shaila of stealing time on the job when you've been paid by the hour, whether it's the shaila of mingling with goyim, whether it's the shaila of Kiddush Hashem. We went through many, many different shailas, Baruch Hashem. And then I thought last night, hold on a second, there's a very, very important chalik to the series that we cannot go away from and finish this series, which Be'ez Hashem at some point we will, without discussing this most crucial shaila. If it's the next shaila in Shamayim after were you honest in business, then we have to ask ourselves and prepare ourselves for were we koveya itim l'Torah or not. Because this is a chalik of business, it's a chalik of work, it's a chalik of our day, it's a chalik of being a yid. And therefore, we have to make sure we understand what does it mean to be koveya. And this is negayah, by the way, not only if you own a business right now, even if you're going to be working in the summer, even if it's peinas manim. Were you koveya itim l'Torah? It's not only for a businessman that they're asking the shaila, they're asking the shaila to every single yid. Were you koveya itim l'Torah or not? Doesn't make a difference what situation you're in, where you were holding, what you were busy with. Were you or were you not koveya itim? So I want to spend a few minutes, Be'ez Hashem, to go through some of the shilas of what is considered to be koveya itim l'Torah. We think that as long as we learn, then we're good. I learned something, I'm good. What does that mean, koveya itim? It doesn't say that the second shaila in Shemaim is did you learn? It doesn't say that. It could have said that. Did you learn Torah? Did you learn or did you not learn? It didn't say that. Koveya itim. Were you koveya time? What does that mean to be koveya time? And that's the shaila that we're going to have to answer. So if we don't understand the shaila, we're not going to be able to answer the correct way. Let's understand the shaila in the next few minutes. Let's try and do whatever we can to do this. So the Shulchan Aruch talks about this in a few places. One of them is in Yeridei Siman Reish Mem Vov, when the Shulchan Aruch writes very clearly, Siman Reish Mem Vov, you look it up, it's all based on a Gemara, but I'll put in the Shulchan Aruch, Paskins Halacha L'Maisa, that every single Jewish man has a chiyuv, an obligation, to learn Torah, whether he is rich, whether he's poor, whether he's healthy, whether he's not healthy, whether he's young, whether he's old. It's irrelevant what the situation is, says the Shulchan Aruch, even if he's collecting money from door to door to pay the bills at home. It's irrelevant. He has an absolute chiyuv to learn Torah every day and every night. Shenema, the pasuk in Yeshua, the pasuk says, "V'yisaba yoymam v'loila." So what qualifies as learning every single day and every single night? So Shulchan Aruch says we have to clearly make set times, specifically in the day as a kviyas, to make sure that we have a specific slot. Says the Shulchan Aruch, even if a person is busy, even says the Shulchan Aruch, if a person is going to lose a lot of money, of profit that he will be making by a business deal or a meeting, whatever that he's got set up, doesn't make a difference. You cannot miss the kviyas in that case. And that's a very, very important thing. In fact, some of the Sfarim bring down a very interesting idea. And they say that the korban tomid The korban tamid, as we know, was the korban that was offered twice a day in the Beis Hamikdash, once in the morning and once in the afternoon. Now, the korban tamid was only one of the korbanos out of the many different, korbanos that were offered throughout the day. So why was it called the korban tamid? Why is it known specifically as the korban tamid? The answer is tamid means continuous. Tamid means constant, right? And therefore, since it was offered on a regular basis, always there, every single day without missing, that has a din of tamid. Mimela, if a person wants to have a kviyas of learning, a kviyas of Torah, it has to be not that I have to learn 3 blat within the week, and if I don't manage with the first 3 days, I'll chap the last few days and chap the last 3 daf. No. It has to be every single day. That's tamid. Tamid means continuous and constant every single day in that case. Now there's an interesting thing. The 2 questions that we mentioned from the Gemara in Shabbos Lamed Aleph is an interesting thing like this, because the Gemara in Shabbos mentions the first question in Shemayim is honesty in business. The second question in Shemayim is, did you learn Kovei Itim the Torah? If you learn the Gemara in Sanhedrin Daf Zayin Amud Aleph, the Gemara in Sanhedrin has the same order, meaning has the same questions in a different order. The Gemara in Sanhedrin changes the order. That the first question is, did you learn Kovei Itim? The second question is, were you honest in business? Tosfos over there, Sanhedrin Daf Zayin Amud Aleph, asked the kasha, what's going on? Gemara in Shabbos said the order is this way. The Gemara in Sanhedrin said the order is that way. So Tosfos brings 2 terutzim. The first teretz of Tosfos is, he answers that the Gemara in Shabbos, which puts honesty in business first, is talking about someone that learns Torah, that's for sure, but he hasn't got a permanent routine to learn his Torah. He hasn't got a schedule set specifically for that, because that's why we're not asking first, did he learn? Because he did learn, but we'll ask him afterwards about the routine. Whereas the Gemara in Sanhedrin that puts Torah first is someone who didn't learn at all. And therefore, says Tosfos in the first teretz, that the first question a person will be asked if he didn't learn is, why didn't you learn? That's the first and foremost question. If you did learn, but it wasn't b'kviyas, then they're going to ask you about honesty and business, and only then they're going to get to the shaila of learning because you weren't koveya. Now Tosfos has a second teretz, and if you're familiar with the Berditchever and Kedushas Levi, he brings a beautiful pshat to explain why al pi Kabbalah the Torah and the kviyas and honesty and business are really one and the same. They're connected one and the other, which is why the Gemara puts them sometimes in different order. Like we have Rashi says, Moshe, Aaron and Moshe. Kedushas Levi has a fascinating idea to explain that, but that's not what we're going to discuss right now. So that's an important thing that a person has to realize. It has to be b'kviyas. Now the Ramah comes along, and the Ramah says, based on a girsa in the Rif, the Ramah wants to say that not only do you have to have a specific time, but you should also have a specific place. There should be a location that you learn every single day, and that's your place of learning. Mishnah Berurah says you should have the same seat in the Beis Medrash as well when you learn. Kfiyah, says the Ramah, again based on the Rif, is not only the time, it's also the makom, the location that you are in, which is also important for that. In fact, the Torah brings down when is the best and foremost time that a person should be kovei itim l'Torah. Right, people going back, for example, to Chutzos, and they often ask the shaila, when should I learn? At what point during the day should I learn? So the Torah brings down already, the Torah brings for many Rishonim, the best thing is in the morning. Immediately after Shachris, Mechayil el-Chayil, mitzvah le-mitzvah, Shulchan Aruch tells us that way, straight after you finish shul, you go to the Beis Medrash, and you learn, because you go from mitzvah to mitzvah. And practically speaking, it makes the most sense. The Pri Megadim brings this reason also. The Pri Megadim says, practically speaking, if you think about it, during the day people are busy, and you get phone calls and meetings and things come up. If you start straight away in the morning, when things are fresh, your mind is fresh, hopefully the phone is off and you're still able to concentrate, that's the best thing. I've told people to get up early in the morning and go to a kollel before Shach or something like that, when everyone's still sleeping, and there's no bar mitzvahs, and there's no simchas, and everything's gavaldik, and you're able to sit and learn. And Baruch Hashem, a lot of people did that, and it was gavaldik. Now, however, that's not always practical, right? There are some boys, for example, they get up, 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, right? Believe it or not, unbelievable. They leave yeshiva, all of a sudden, 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, they're getting up for going to work. It's unbelievable what a bissel gelt does to persuade a person to get in the right direction. So Akaponim, he can't sit and learn at that time, so he has to at least have, Oh, so it has to at least have a Seder at night to make sure that it's a Kvias in that case over there. By the way, very interesting limud the Sfarim HaKadoshim bring down from the Lechem Aponim. The Lechem Aponim, as we know, was a constant bread in the Mishkan and the Beis HaMikdash, and the Torah says it should be lefanai, it should always be constantly in front of me. The Lechem Aponim have to be always in front of Hashem, they always have to be in the Mishkan, they always have to be in the Beis HaMikdash. Now we know that the loaves were replaced every single week with fresh loaves. According to some Shitas, they were slipped out of their place on one side, and the other ones, the new ones, were replaced on the new side in that case, right? That means the Shulchan, the table was never without the Lechem Haponim. Lefi Shitas Rabbi Yossi in the Gemara Menachos, Rabbi Yossi paskins that even if the old loaves were removed in the morning and the new ones were only put in the evening, that's still called lefanai, says Shitas Rabbi Yossi in the Gemara in Menachos Daf Tzadi Tes Amud Beis. Why? Shitas Rabbi Yossi is that even if they're not there the whole time, but they were there in the morning and at the night, that is considered to be lefonai tamid. Mimela zuk the Gemara Menachos Daf Tzadi Tes Amud Beis Shitas Rav Ami. Rav Ami says that if a person learns something in the morning and something in the night, that is considered to be vigisa b'yoyim v'loyla, and the mele he's yoytzel lefonai tamid by doing that, just like the lechem aponim in the shita in the Gemara Menachos Daf Tzadi Tes Amud Beis. Very, very interesting shita in the Gemara. In fact, the Kaf HaChaim also brings a very beautiful idea in Orach Chaim Simon Kuf Nun Hey Sikot Yud Gimel. The Kaf HaChaim brings the Chidah, that the Chidah explains what's the mile of Kvias. Let me learn. What's the difference? Has to be koveya itim l'Torah, which again is the lashon of the Gemara in Shabbos Lamed Aleph, dafka that we're going to be asked after 120 years. Koveya itim l'Torah. By the way, not for now, but I have a whole shmooze about how many kollel people are not yotzer koveya itim l'Torah. They're going to get the Shemayim. Could be they weren't yotzer koveya itim l'Torah. They're going to have a problem with question number 2, by the way. But that's a whole different shmooze. Not for now. Now we're dealing with the people in business. You got you got a day and you got a night. Says the Kaf HaChaim. Listen to this Kaf HaChaim. Brings a chidah. He brings a Gemara in Yuma da Pedal da Mabes, where the Gemara tells us, Kol Kavua Kemechzal Mechzadomi. Anyone that's familiar with Yeridei, some Kufyud Kufyudanov, we all know that halacha is Kol Kavua Kemechzal Mechzadomi. The end of the first parak of Masechtas Ksubas. Also, Kol Kavua Kemechzal Mechzadomi. Anything that's Kavua has got a din of Mechzal Mechzadomi, right? Nafkamini, if you throw a stone and there's a bunch of goyim over there, and you have to know who it hit. Did it hit a yid? Did it hit a goy ilan? Whether or not you can machal Shabbos or not machal Shabbos. What's the din in such a case? Are you allowed or not? Kol kavua kemechza mechzadomi. Says the Chidah, unbelievable pshat. Mimela, if a person is koveya to learn, not the whole time, day and night, a chelik during the day and a chelik during the night, but he's koveya, this is the kviyas that he has, mimela is not the Chidah, it's as if he learned day and night, the whole time. Unbelievable Chidah. That a person going to have this gavaldige maila of learning the entire day, the entire night, as long as he was kaveh. Now, what happens if a person cannot? What happens if he just simply cannot? What do you do? So the Shulchan Aruch says that if a person simply cannot, what's he meant to do? So the Ramah brings Hagos Maimoni, the Hagos Maimoni brings down B'shas Adchak, that if a person reads Krishma in the morning and the night, he's yoked to the obligation of Vigisa B'Yom V'Loila. He was yoked to the obligation of learning Torah in the morning and the night. The Manchester Rosh Yeshivas, that's how was very makpid, especially in England, when Shabbos goes out very, very late and Nacht is extremely late. So then he made sure to learn Epis Mishnah after Mariv, because other than Vigisa B'Yom V'Loila, very nice that your night Seder finishes at 10 o'clock, but Nacht is not till 11:30, so they made sure to learn after that time. But Al Kaponim Yoch HaShulchan says that Ramah that says B'shas Adchak Yotzu Kriyashma is only something that happens every so often. Don't use that excuse every single time. In fact, the Pischei Tshuva in Simon Reish Membav at Yeridea brings down the Shaila, brings the Mishnah's Chachamim. What happens if a person, for example, has a Daf Yomi Sheh, and his koveya itim l'Torah with the Daf Yomi Sheh. Beautiful, gavaldik, unbelievable, amazing. And then one day he misses the Sheh. Does he have a chiyuv as the din korban to be mashlim tomorrow double? or does he not have a chiv? As chiv. Forget about whether he misses the daf or doesn't miss the daf. We're talking about as the chiv of kvias. Does he have to be mashlim? He brings us a din neder, that maybe he was kovei itim l'Torah as a din neder, and maybe he has to go and continue the next day, and he has to be, mechayev that hashlama, or do we say that once bottled zman, bottled korban, and therefore we don't say that in that case? The Maisi passing that a person should in that case. Rabbi said a lot more shilas to discuss. We'll just end with one last kavaldik azach. There's a famous Maisa with a shopkeeper, someone who owned a store. He was very makbid on kavei itim Torah. He would always close the store at some point during the day, close the store, lock it, go to learn the Beis Medrash, come back and continue working whatever he had to do. One time, a wealthy looking guy walks into the store and starts to take this off the shelf and that off the shelf, and he looks like he's getting a huge order and he's very excited. This is Gavaldik. And it's taking a long time for him to pick this, for him to pick that, until eventually he says, I'm really sorry, my time for my chavrusa has arrived, I have to go. He's like, yeah, but I'm in the middle of a very big order. No. I have to go. I have to learn. I have a learning partner. I have to finish. He says, I'm sorry, I'm in the middle of an order. I can't just stop. He says, you know what? Okay, take the key of the store. I'm going to lock it behind me. You take the key. Give it back to me. I'm in the Beis Medrash across the street. Come on, give it to me. Give me your order. I'll take it from there. The guy smiled and he says, that's amazing, because I'm actually here from the government. I'm a tax collector, and I wanted to see, like, are you honest in business, or are you messing around? Are you cheating? So I wanted to see, like, how your values are. The story that just happened just shows me that you're an honest person in business. So there you are. You have the kavei itim Torah and the honesty in business. The Gemara in Shabbos Lamed Aleph tells us those are the two questions. Rabbi say, whatever you do, wherever you go, however much you're working, however busy you are, be kavei itim Torah and answer the shaila in Shemayim in the correct and confident way. Have a great day.